What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And today I wanted to come on and take a look at the veteran quarterback that the Washington Commanders signed in Jacoby Brissett. And I think it's real important to point out before I get started out that this team is not in search of, a Hall of Fame guy to be the backup quarterback of this football team at this point. What they need is someone capable and consistent enough to come in if they need to. I'm telling you, after you take a look at his film, you might actually believe that Jacoby Brissett may give Sam Howell a run for his money. At any rate, let's take a look at the film, and I'm going to be looking for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thankfully, there's not a whole lot of ugly, but let's get to it anyway. And while I was going through Brissett's film, this play right here just jumped out at me, and I figured, what better way to break the ice and start looking at this guy's film than to look at this play right here. I mean, look at the extension on that pylon dive. That guy right there obviously wants to win, right? Watch it again from this angle. I like how he goes through his progressions, his nothing there. Hey, let's take off. And he's not scared to stretch his arms out. Hey, man, that's what it's all about right there, right? A backup quarterback that's not afraid to put his body on the line when he needs to. And I think it's all about that little pump fake there, near the end there that really sells it. Something about a guy that'll die for that pylon, ain't it? In some of this film, I wanted to kind of go back and take a look at what he actually did in Indianapolis. When Jacoby Brissett was brought in up there after Andrew Luck retired unexpectedly. And this first play right here, I'm going to take a look at. Only reason why I like what I see here is he goes through his progressions and he notices everybody's covered and he is not afraid to roll out of the pocket, see if it creates, and if it doesn't, just throw it away. I like to see that. I think one thing that kind of gets lost in the mix with Jacoby Brissett is his ability to be able to escape the pocket. Now, I already just showed on the last play that he tries, no matter what, to go through all his progressions first before he takes off. Even though he was dealing in this season right here with a horrible offensive line, one that, he got sacked, I believe. It was in the 30s or 40s that year, I believe. He got a number of times he was sacked. But as you see this play right here, he rolls out, he checks his progressions, he sees nobody's open, goes out to the sides, goes to the pot. Oh, see, you see that? I love to see that from a guy that kind of size. I mean, watch how he just leaves that man standing right in the shoes, like whoop, oh. I mean, a man that size, you wouldn't figure could make that kind of move and then cut up field, but he did it. And then cut back in. He took a little bit of a hit there at the end. And I don't like to see, my quarterback necessarily taking that kind of hit. But, man, this guy fights for the extra yard, right? I mean, you could I guess some people might call that not so smart. He tried to slide there at the end. It was just too late. Now, as I said, I try to make it a point to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that means taking, into consideration plays like this one right here. Which this is definitely one I'm sure he wishes that, he could have back. And Jacoby Brissett obviously never envisioned this happening. But this is what happens when you try to do too much and he tried to force it. Probably should have just thrown that out of bounds or taken the sack. And that's something that, worries me a little bit with him because I noticed that, he's such a competitor that he doesn't really want to take that sack. And he's a hard tackle too. It's not an easy sack to get. He reminds me of a little bit more trim and obviously a lot faster Ben Roethlisberger when it comes to being in the pocket because he could slip the hit, but it's not so much that he's fast. It's just that he can get around it and get off of it. That play right there, he slipped that, and obviously the ball sailed and led to the interception. Tight end is the only man that could get up there and make that catch, in which that tight end makes one hell of a catch right there. But at the same time, look at the ball placement. It's perfect for him to go up there and make that one-handed catch. Watch it again here on this angle. I mean, it's perfect. And yeah, I get it. My man made a perfect catch. Eric Ebron really was on point that year with some of the catches he was making. Those one-handed gems, but that ball placement is perfect. Look at that. I mean, you know, it's coming from a backup quarterback now. That's perfect ball placement for that play with a big tight end in the back of the end zone. Again, something I can't express enough how underrated this guy is on moving around in the pocket. You know, watch this play right here. He really, you know, he gets out of the pocket because he doesn't like what he's seeing there. And then as he's moving, he throws back across his body. And it's not necessarily the greatest throw in the history of mankind. It's just the fact that he's able to continue the motion that he's doing. He doesn't get sacked, and they get the first down. I mean, that's a perfect play, in my opinion, as far as getting the yardage you need to make the chains move. Again, a good quarterback always finds ways to make the ball continue to move and the chains continue to move down the field. The ball placement on this sideline pass is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's Amari Cooper over there. So he on the side of the field, you know, he's one of the better wide receivers in the game. But, you know, the ball placement on that one, I wish that was a little bit closer, you could see it. But the ball placement on that was ideal. I mean, perfect almost. Good touch on the pass. One of the things his tape has definitely impressed me about was his ability with the play action and, you know, using his ability to roll out to be able to free some plays up, to get things to open up for him. You know, I think that's an underrated part of his game, and that's something that could be utilized for any team that were to bring him on the field, especially us in a situation where he may be seeing the field as the backup. Again, look at the ball placement on that play right there. I mean, just perfect ball placement on the side of that field again. Again, it's Amari Cooper, so again, you're dealing with a guy that knows how to put his toes down there and twinkle toes it on the sideline. But at the same time, the ball placement is, I wish I could get a little closer on that, but I can't. You can see though, the ball is there. Look right there, the ball is right there. I mean, it's perfect ball placement. Nobody else is getting that ball. It's not going to get picked off. And I will say it again, this guy may not be Lamar Jackson, but he definitely has the ability to be able to slip that pocket and to get up the field and make the chains move if he needs to. And I really think it's an underrated aspect of his game that a lot of people miss out on, is his ability to escape that pocket. One thing I noticed with him with the Browns was sometimes he tended to try to do a little bit too much. And in the process, he made some faulty decisions, whatever the case may be. You know, maybe he should have went to the underneath guy in a route or whatever the case, but he was trying to force it upfield to make, you know, the bigger play. Like in this play right here, you know, he decided that he wanted to go down the field instead of just dumping it off to Kareem Hunt underneath, which he had. He could have hit Hunt right there. Here's 27 right here. He could have waited another couple seconds and hit Hunt right there. And he probably could have got 10, 15 yards out of that. But he was looking at the bigger play down the field because the clock is obviously winding out. And they're looking for, to move the chains down there and at least get into range to score more points. I chuckle because when I first saw this play, I didn't realize that Amari Cooper had stepped out of bounds. So I'm thinking, oh look, it's a long play. Like, what is he stopping for? What's going on? And then I realized, obviously that Cooper had stepped out of bounds. But it does not take away from the fact of how good of a ball this is and how badly that they actually beat this coverage on this play. Twofold. Like, they could have had a big play right there. Here's another one of those plays with ball placement. I believe his name is David Njoku. Look at that play. I mean, that's just perfect, man. I mean, he puts it right where that big tight end could get up and get it in the back of the end zone. No other defenders are back there to be able to grab it. Perfect. Watch it from the other angle. Nothing they can do with that, man. Logan Thomas comes back next year, or whoever's in that tight end spot. This guy sees the field. He can hit the tight ends over the middle there, man. If you put my feet to the fire and you ask me what is this guy's bread and butter, I will have to tell you, from what I've seen as far as the Brown scheme goes, it's this right here. You know, it's just a simple play action and you know, back across the middle. That play right there is what they do a lot of times. That's his bread and butter with the Browns. I mean, that might be different with another team, but that was his bread and butter with the Browns. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it. That's their go-to play. Remember the very first clip I showed when I was saying, you know, you got to love a guy that will lay it all out on the line to get that touchdown, that believes that winning is all there is when he's on the field? Here's another example of that. Slips the pocket, makes a couple moves, dives into the end zone, touchdown. I love this guy's energy, man. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to see this, and this was part of his film that actually kind of shocked me. You know, to be that size and be able to be that agile. Now, this play right here is the type of play that you want to see your quarterback do anytime that you're on the other side of the field, when you're on the opponent's side of the field. You want to see your quarterback and your wide receiver connect on a play just like that every single time. The only thing that you might want different is you might want it to be, you know, a little bit longer, maybe 4 or 5 more yards down the field so that he gets in there and scores that touchdown right there. Am I right? I mean, that's just it's a nice pocket, first of all, but it's a look at that ball. It's a well thrown ball, man. And he's got a great arm. I love to see him be able to have a play like that, to be able to show us that arm. And this offense right here is really, it's not one that really gave him all that many opportunities to really show us, you know, this arm right here, or this type of ball ability right here, this type of passing ability, because they like to run the ball with Nick Chubb all day long. They got Kareem Hunt over there too, so they like a lot of screen passes and flares and whatnot. And to see him be able to let loose of that shows you what kind of arm he has. Here's another situation right here where I think Cleveland waited too long. They've been running the ball all game long, and they had to get down the field and score some points quick. So Brissett was trying to force the ball here at the end of the game. And as you see, instead of taking something underneath that was quick and easy, he went for a long ball on a play he probably should not have thrown and got picked off in the process. And watch it here on this replay. You could see, like I said, his receivers on the underneath route were open, but he tried to force it in there. This route right here, it just don't get much better than this, you know. If you could write them up like you want them every time, this is how you'd want it right there. You know, Amari Cooper, unbelievable route runner, is able to do what he wants right there on the side of that end zone, touchdown. You could, like I said, if you could draw it up every time one way, it would be that way right there. Perfect every time. Perfect ball placement too there again. You can see where the ball comes in right there. Perfect ball placement. Without a doubt, as I've already stated, the bread and butter, play action, roll out right. I swear it's there almost every single time. If the long ball isn't there, then one of the lower crossing routes are there for him, or the underneath route to the halfback is there to him. Well, you can see it right there. Like at least 2 other guys are open on that route to him. The other guy's right here. Boom, boom. Obviously, he's looking down the field at Cooper, though, because that's the longer play. And if that defender doesn't have that inside position like that, Coop could have just been gone. Maybe if he had some afterburners there, man. I mean, I don't look at Cooper and say that he's slow by any means. Wait a minute, that's not Cooper, that's Njoku, isn't it? Yep, that's Njoku. If that was Cooper, he might have turned that upfield a little bit more. As I said a minute ago, if this guy slips the pocket, he's a problem to bring down, man. I mean, you're going to have to do more than just arm tackle him or try to grab him up top. He could slip the pocket and be gone, just like he is on this play right here. And, you know, he picked up big yardage there. Watch it from this angle. Slip that. Slip that. Oh, that was a face mask they got away with. This play right here was almost perfect for him. He just missed seeing one guy, and it's the guy right there that grabs the pass. And other than that, I mean, he did everything that he needed to do, including making the tackle after the interception. He did everything that you want him to do there besides make the right pass, right? I mean, he gets right there and just, oh, man. How does he not see that guy? Like, guy's like right there, but I don't know. Wow. Watch it from the other angle. That split second, he just misses. He misses that guy standing right there, like running right with him. Guy's running parallel with him, watching his every move. Yeah, 32. Yeah. I don't even think that he even sees him. He's looking at Cooper at the back of the end zone, never even sees him. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. He had his eyes fixed on Cooper and wasn't paying attention. Sure he'd like to have that one back. Now, this play right here was actually an incomplete pass, but I have to show this because the ball placement is right where, just about where you'd want it. I mean, if he could bring him back in just a little tiny bit, you know, that's a complete pass. But if he throws it just a little bit to the, you know, further to the right, that might be an interception. Man, all I can say is ball placement was just a tad bit off there, but it was a beautiful pass there on the corner right there, man. I mean, man, I wish I could get closer with those feet so you could try to see if that was in or out, but watch it from this angle. See if you can see it any better. It just sailed just a little. Here's another example of that play action, and they were ready for it on this play. I believe that's Kyle Duggar that got that, but he come around on the inside and was able to pick that off. Yeah, Brissett he didn't think that the Duggar was fast enough, I don't think, to catch up to that route. Maybe he didn't put enough zip on that ball. Now, on this play right here, I believe had he put everything he had behind this pass, this been a walk. But that ball really had potential, man. I mean, and it was still a great pass. Don't get me wrong. The placement on it was perfect. Like, the ball is only where he could catch it. I love this. It appears like effortless, like, throw for a 40-yard, like, right on the spot ball. And you know, his receiver makes the catch with little to no issues. He jumps up where the ball's placed where only he can get it. I mean, I like that kind of pass. That's perfect to me. Obviously, perfect would be a touchdown in most people's eyes, but I mean, that's damn near perfect, man. He put the ball where nobody else could get it. I'm gonna say it again, man. If this guy sees the field, the tight end position will get opportunities in the end zone for over-the-top catches because he has the placement skills to be able to hit those big guys over the top, on the side of the field, whatever the case may be. If they can go up and get it, this guy can put it up there where only they can grab it. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. It's damn near impossible to fucking defend that nowadays, especially with the way that the rules are. Like, I mean, it's just a flick. A nice little flick of the wrist. He's got a good throw, man. Like, he throws a good ball. He can spin that thing. Look at it. I noticed when he was with Indianapolis that maybe he threw with a little bit more velocity. It appears like maybe he's, you know, toned things down a little bit, got a little bit more touch on the ball now that he spent, you know, a few years in the league. I think that's a pretty pass, man. Again, the flick of the wrist. I mean, it's almost, well, that one he put a little bit more behind it. Watch it from this angle. Kid's got a good arm. And one thing I'm noticing with his ability to get the ball exactly where he wants it, the ball placement that he has, is that his offensive line is not the greatest either. That he gets put on the ground quite a bit. He has to escape the pocket quite a bit. And he has quite a bit of pressure on him. And it leads to plays such as this one right here, where, again, he's a tough takedown, man. He's able to slip that pocket, do a little dipsy turn there, come around the other side, you know, kind of roll out and see another guy open. And then he does it there again to the other side, if you see there. One play to the right, the other to the left. One, he's able to find, another receiver. And then obviously that last play there, he ended up scrambling for, that wasn't quite the first down, but he ended up scrambling and getting positive yardage out of it instead of losing yardage. He looks a lot like Ben Roethlisberger on this play right here from this angle. I'll say it again. He's definitely a little quicker than Ben, but he looked a lot like Ben right there, kind of rolling, doing that little roll right there. I think a lot of the issues that people may have or perceive with Brissett is that, he doesn't really do a whole lot of things that are overly spectacular. He does a lot of things that are consistent and capable, which is what this team needs in a backup. I couldn't really see this good on the other angle, but I absolutely love how he does that pump fake and then makes that throw. He pulls the guys off of the other receiver and then does what he needs to do. This play right here, Amari Cooper damn near breaks this thing open. And if they didn't have a safety playing over the top, that could have been 6 points right there. Watch it from this angle. Yeah. Just like on this play right here, if Amari Cooper doesn't have to lay out or doesn't slip right there at the last second and lay out, that could have been 6 points because the ball was definitely had the velocity for him to be able to catch it and run with it. It was just that little, I don't know if he took that last little stride and kind of slipped a little, but that last little, yeah, man, what a ball though. And what a catch. I don't know what the hell happened with Cleveland in the Miami game, but the very first thing they came out and did was this play right here, which is very un-Browns-like, as you've seen from this film. But they came out and took a deep ball shot quick. And, I mean, there it was. Boom, right? Watch it from this angle. Brissett really, he came out the gate ready to toss the ball in that game. I want to stress it again. Watch the ball placement. I mean, right in the man's hands in between two people. I mean, there ain't many backup quarterbacks in the NFL that are going to put it that perfect in the breadbasket. Boom. If you're wondering how mobile he is, watch this angle on this play right here. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 moves and then a head first slide from a 6'4" man. Now, to me, it doesn't get much more pretty than that. I mean, that is a perfect pass. Watch it. Watch. Perfect. It's hard to defend something like that too, man. The defender, A, can't see the ball coming, and B, it's the placement is perfect so that as soon as the receiver turns around, the ball is in his hands. Again, the placement right in his hands. Right in his hands. On the corner of that end zone. The defender has no chance of catching that ball. For one, he doesn't see it coming. And for two, it's right in the breadbasket. It's right in Amari Cooper's hands. Again, watch him go through his progression, stay cool, and then hit his man on the other side of the end zone. Ball placement. Oh yeah, did I mention that the ball placement on this guy's passes down in the red zone are damn near perfect? Watch this. Boom. I mean, that's perfect ball placement. You don't get much better than that. Watch it from this other angle right here. It's perfect. Now, I'll have to say, Njoku does a damn good job with the one-handed catches here too. But if the ball's not placed perfectly right there, he's not making that catch, man. It's just not happening. Look at that. That's pretty. Sometimes you see a play and you think to yourself, how was it that they did not get a touchdown on that play? And this is one of them right here. You have to wonder how in the world they didn't put 6 on the board with a play that broken. I'm not sure why Amari Cooper didn't cut back into the left there at the end of the play. I mean, if you watch, first of all, he's wide open right there. He cut back in left right there. Maybe he makes it. Maybe not. Who knows? But wow. When I first started this video, I talked about 2 things, 2 C's that I felt embodied Jacoby Brissett's game, and that's consistency and capable. Now, capability with a quarterback that's the size that he is, a lot of times people think that he can't run with the ball in his hands, which he actually can do. I believe that a lot of people look at him, especially, the younger generation, and the first thing they think is, man, his game is so mid. Like he has nothing that's flashy, nothing that's in their eyes worth, saving in their brain and thinking about twice. And I could probably see why. I mean, in his career, he's 18-30. Most of that is with the Indianapolis Colts. And the 4 years that he was there, he was 11-19. Now, don't forget now that that's, a situation up there that's not so good. I mean, you look at all the quarterbacks that have came since Andrew Luck. Last year in Cleveland, Brissett was 4-7 in a run-heavy scheme that was built for Deshaun Watson. And they geared their whole team to be a team with Deshaun Watson being the one in control. I believe he made $40 million last year. And if you think about it from that aspect, that's $40 million that they spent on that one player while Jacoby Brissett went out there and played quarterback, for 11 weeks. And then the other guy, Deshaun Watson, only came out there for 6. But in the process of that, Brissett completed 64% of his passes for 2,808 yards, 12 touchdowns, and yes, he threw 6 interceptions, but he averaged 7.1 yards a play, which is actually really good. He also rushed the ball 49 times for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he did have 6 fumbles, although I don't think that he lost but 2 of them. Which, one concerning stat that I saw, I believe in his career he has more fumbles with 30 than he does with interceptions with 23 in his entire career. Which, don't get me wrong, that is concerning. But remember that this guy was sacked 81 times in 30 starts. His track record, especially after Andrew Luck and all the quarterbacks he's went through since that time, I believe that he just thought Brissett would come in and be perfect, and when he wasn't, he discarded him. Because we all know that he calls the shots up there. And he has his hands in roster decisions, so I'm almost assuming that he probably maybe even had the guy benched if he didn't like him. But in 48 career starts, Jacoby Brissett has completed 61.1% of his passes for 10,350 yards to go along with 49 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. He's also rushed the ball 227 times for 896 yards and 15 touchdowns. And his yard per carry average for his entire career is 3.9 yards since being drafted in the 3rd round out of NC State in 2016. Now, he signed a 1-year deal with Washington worth $8 million, and he'll be 30 years old when the season starts in September. My main worry or concern really is, they talked about bringing in a backup quarterback, and the idea is it would be somebody that would not really so much challenge Sam Howell, but would be someone who would come in and take the backup role and wouldn't complain about it. Me personally, I think Jacoby Brissett is a guy that's trying to prove himself. The teams he's been on have all had different outlooks at the quarterback position. Each one was like in flux in the middle of thinking about going for another younger quarterback. So he was always brought in to just be a 1-year stopgap, 2-year stopgap. I think he may view this situation as an opportunity for him to come in and win the starting job. Now, I know a coach like Ron Rivera is always talking about competition, and he's old school, which makes him believe that players that win, a spot through competition will be the better player. So knowing that, it makes me think that he's all set and ready for quarterback competition. And from what I've seen of Sam Howell's film, he's got a rocket on his shoulder. I feel like he's got the foot up on the competition right now. But I don't view Jacoby Brissett as a guy that you're going to tell at the beginning of camp that, he just needs to go out there and hold the clipboard for Sam Howell. I feel like he's going to push that young guy, that rookie minus 1 year. He's going to come in and he's going to do what he needs to do to win the starting job. And for a team like Washington that may be just a couple of pieces away from being a playoff team and maybe just, a handful of players away from being a big time contender every year, it's great to see another guy come in and for them to actually have a legitimate competition. I actually like the idea of that. I don't want to just hand the job to one guy. Make him earn it. And I feel like Jacoby Brissett is the guy that's going to make him do just that. And if he can't beat out Brissett, then he doesn't deserve to be the starting quarterback of this football team. And that's taking nothing away from Jacoby Brissett. That's just saying if Sam Howell's the man, then he's going to prove it. At any rate, let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comment box. And make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hit that like button on the way out. I swear it doesn't cost a dime, but it damn sure helps out the channel. Y'all take it easy. Peace.